Hello class. For this demonstration and discussion I'm going to talk about wireframing. Um, this PDF is of a sample I quickly set up in Axure, which I'll get back to in a little bit. First I wanted to go over some of the examples from this week's module uh, showing the level of complexity that I'm looking for. A few of these are from online, a couple are from a prior class. This is of a hypothetical music store. This is a pretty good level of detail. Here the notes in this case are underneath. Here they're actually using the description, what would be the text to describe what goes in this place. And here just by, rather than put in names of artists, put in the artist 1, artist 2, and so forth. This one, I'm sorry it's a little fuzzy, it's actually, I think that was its original size, but so you can see it a little better, I'll just bring it up a little bit. Here they're using what's known as Lorem Ipsum to put in some sample text in the area there. The key is not on this one, but the key could go over on the right side or below. There's enough room. Notice that there's no use of color. You don't necessarily have to show a page navigation bar up here, web page. You can just stick with the box below it. Here's another example. Here they use grayscale, a gray to show some navigation technique. What I don't like here is that they're using the gray to designate an image or an advertisement area, and the same gray they're using for these navigation. And so I would use a different gray that's very different, or and here a blue for these links, which just sort of stands out. And I think they were just underlined. It would have been good enough being the main menu. Here's from Brian Barry, who graduated last year. This is very well done. The level of detail, precision, here I'll blow it up a bit. In terms of the spacing, everything is spaced correctly. There's no unusual spacing or unusual overlaps of lines, which makes it feel a little bit, can make it feel amateurish. I don't know if I like how bright the red key buttons are, because you have the key numbers here, and then you have all the keys here in the right list of red circles. I would have just put the numbers here, or a fainter just in a circle, because it's visually kind of distracting. And I would have overtaken the 1 and put it overlapped over the logo on the edge, so you know what it's referring to. And the same with these. I've seen shapes for these key figures in some other programs, which you can try if you want. By from last fall as well, 2011. Here she's the use of color to designate areas that are common or distinguished by. I'm not sure it's working in all cases. I said these are links to stuff in the yellow. These are offers, login, interaction, and main links. So yeah, so the colors make some sense in terms of what they mean. And of course, if I would just look at the key over here, navigation, promotional information, action required. And then let me blow it up here a bit. Did a nice job. Now here the little key numbers are a little small maybe on the diagram. Here they're about the right size in terms of the weight. And with the title of the area and then a brief description. So this is well done. It's kind of what I'm looking for. Okay, so on to what I did and some tips. So here's a PDF output. Notice the dashed line, which indicates my sort of safe area that I want to work in. Remember from last week, Axure not being a printing program, it forces you to kind of game it in order to figure out what your safe printing area is for PDF output. So if you look on this dashed line here, which is a locked rectangle, I have right next to the corner here. Now, one thing about a locked object I noticed is that even though you can't drag it once in the frame, you click on it, these variables here in these forms will control where it is. So left, top, and if you look carefully, and you'll see that it blew up from the corner there. Here, let me enlarge that so you can see that. See how it's away from the edge now? And if I click on it, I see that the width is 1600 and the height 2000. So when I PDF preview that, there is, let me go out a little bit. There you can see my dashed line is my page safe area. I could even make it a little taller if I needed. And what I'll do in the end, if I want, is if I click on this, oops, here's also, there we go. And let me zoom out. If I click on that area, remember it's in the back. I put that grouping order send to back, so it's behind everything else and locked it. I can turn off the line here and it won't display, but even though it won't display, it holds open the page for me. Even though it's not displaying, it holds it open as an object rather than trying to make the page conform to the width and height of the what's there. Okay, so how did I do the drawing? The drawing is based on, and I'll go back here to this NGO in Kenya called the Wiser Group or Wiser NGO. Now, I don't know if you noticed, but if you go back here, it pretty closely, very closely matches up to the dimensions. Now, I could have just copied and figured it out or used an on-screen ruler, but it did a little trick. You might say it's cheating, but there's no cheating in this. There's no one way to do things. So I have this object here, and if I click on it and I go to fill transparency and I make the transparency around, oh, you can't see that. Okay, let me just drag that up a little bit so you can see what I've got down here. Okay, the fill transparency right here, bring this up to around 67%. Click here, and there's the page behind it. And so if I click it again and knock down the transparency, or make it less transparent. I'm going the wrong way, I'm sorry. We get what we know as an onion skin, is that I have a transparent layer over the box showing the graphic underneath. And what I did was that I did a screen grab, and I'll just go grab it, of the page I wanted. My screenshots here it is, and I just dragged it, it's a ping, oops, right onto the page. And I sort of ignored this. It wants to know if I want to optimize it. I say it is, can't be optimized, okay. And there it is. What I did was then ordered it, send to back, and then I can put my objects over it. So I've already done that, so let me get rid of it. Oh, I've got to put this one to the back. Okay. So let me blow this up a bit. So there you can see my the page in the background, and you can scale it to get to the right size you want in order to do your diagram. Then I just drew objects over it. So let me find a new section here. Um, all these widgets are basically available to use. Some have some values you can attach to them, but to do a simple box, just grab rectangle, drag it on. Drag it open. But now I can see where the elements are inside it. Easily handled. I go over to fill, and I say no fill by clicking that, and then I can see what's underneath. And then I can also, with some precision, draw it and get more precise using these width and height tools. Now I can see the text, so I would call this, so I can grab a text panel, blow it up a little. I could call it section title if I don't know quite what my information is yet. Usually earlier on in the design phase at this point, it might be before the content's been identified. Blow it up a bit here. A little big. Make it bold. Not going to worry about the font. I mean, this is a wireframe. I'm not trying to match exactly the design underneath. It's really for positioning and the content types and the objects and what they are. Okay, so I mentioned Lorem Ipsum for some dummy type. So I'll go back to here and go to LRUM. There it is, Ipsum.com. Here I can get Greek typing, anything I want. So let's say I just want 2 paragraphs. So I want to start with the classic Lorem Ipsum, generate it, and here it is. I just grab this text, shows the number of words and so forth. Go back to Axure, grab another text panel, put it right here, and paste in my text. Then I can expand click on it and make it the right size. Reduce the number of words. And there you have that. Then line it up. Okay. So then let's see what this looks like. Okay, so now it's kind of interfering with the type underneath, so it's hard to read. So I'll just click that rectangle. Get white, and there we go. So what's this starting to look like when I preview it? Okay, a couple things going on. If I use the specification tool, which is here, and there's all kinds of things you can set with this, and I'll quickly go through them. This is the location of it. I've included the pages generating just the home page. I don't want the section header or sitemap or anything. I don't need the masters. Page properties include the notes, which will include the note down below here. Which notes, or the screenshot is basically the wireframe itself included. Don't need any of this other stuff. Widget properties I'm not showing. Those will be showing if I'd set up any, if I'd labeled the elements on the page, I can have the description of them show them on the right, but that's a little bit more complicated. Just not doing it. The layout shows 2 columns, the left column width being 75%. The user interface of screenshot is going to be in the left column. The column break, my page notes, which are here, will be in the right column. And word template using standard word things. Generate it. Comes up in Word. Puts this title page, by the way, which you can rename whatever you want. Now it's a Word document, so you can manage this the way you would any Word document in terms of the way you want it to look. Table of contents we don't have, you could get rid of that page. A couple extra pages here, but here it is. Now notice in this case that it kept my key in, so I'd want to get rid of that to make it bigger, and it kept my blue line edge, which is not there. It's showing the edge of the screenshot, but it kept the onion skin underneath. So what I would have to do, going back to Axure, I'd have to make the cover diagram transparency no transparency. So now, and also what I'll do is, well, I'll leave that for now. So now when I go to my, oh, by the way, it just wants to replace the one that's up there, so which I got rid of it. So this one, I'm just going to close that one. Now we go down. There it is. I'll blow it up a bit. There it is with without the onion skin of the original site. Once again, remember, if I'd gotten rid of the key and got rid of my page safe area there, it would have blown up and filled nicely in this area with my notes on the right. Remember, the notes in this case, I'll do that afterwards. I'll get rid of it. Actually, why don't I do this? See if I can duplicate this page. Duplicate page. Okay, so I'll do it on this one, the copy of home. Reduce a bit. I will get rid of my page safe block. I'll get rid of the my key. Remember when I chose pages? So now I could have generated all the pages, but in this case I'll just generate, well, I'll generate both of them so we can see a comparison. Okay, home page table of contents. Okay, there's the one with the key. Here's one without the key that I had made, and you see how I expanded it and that area. At this point you can enlarge it, make it smaller, copy it, paste it. Remember, it's just right at this point it's just a image object in Word. The only disadvantage of that is that it if I blow this up, as I mentioned last week, that it's not vector, so it's going to get a little soft if you make it really big. But it's not too bad. See? But it's pretty good. So what I was going to do before is just show you what it looks like with the added text here. So I actually just do print home because we're actually on the home page. That's a copy of home. Show PDF in preview, and there it is. Okay. Okay, now a bit about this label. You'll notice that in your wireframe tools that there's really no wireframe web. There's just no real element you can make look like a circle to put a key in. But remember that these are only widgets. They're unavailable to excuse me, to any form. So if I go to my flow diagram, in this case I grab an ellipse, put a number into it, and drag it to the size I want, and there it is. Remember, like any object, I can fill it. It's got a gradient, I'll make it solid. There you go. And then I can position this over whatever I want to label. You could put things here. Let's see if I can draw a line. The only thing is drawing lines is tough in this program. The only way is, I think, to take a line out of the wireframe, come here, and then you can control the rotation here. This can really kind of awkward. So you get in here 78 degrees, let's say, and then you can just take the size and go like this, pull this out here as sort of a pointer. See if you can put an arrow on it. Wrong side. And that works pretty well. I mean, you'd expect to be able to drag the control point and swivel around. Hopefully in an update this program that'll let you do that. So that's a couple of ways of handling the key. Now here is my key indicator. I might want to get rid of the color in this case just so it's not really sticking out. And I might not need the color here, but anyways, there's all kinds of ways of handling the key. Remember, keep in mind your alignment tools. So as you get these objects lined up, you can grab the group, and you can say alignment left and distribute vertically evenly. Drag it around. Grab that as well, and you can group the whole thing and drag the whole thing wherever you want to put it to play with positioning. Now I'm not sure where my edge is, so I'm actually going to turn my safe area box around back on so I can see where that is. See if I can increase the type size as a group. Yeah, so I can increase the type size as a group, which is kind of nice. And I can play around with that, get the best size for that. I could even increase the whole size of the wireframe. I'm not sure how this is going to work, how well it's going to work. If I wanted to increase the whole size, I already got this box is locked so it wouldn't move around, so I'm going to go and unlock it. Then I'll just select that whole thing there and get the corner. Now I can drag the whole thing, make it bigger. The problem with that is that it doesn't necessarily scale the text up. Some programs will, which is great. But if I just, so now I have to ungroup it. And there you go. See how this looks. Okay, bring it down a little bit. So there you have it. So there are a variety of steps here I showed you to create a moderately complex wireframe. It's moderately complex because it doesn't go into the high fidelity range, which gets very precise in terms of, it's almost a spec that a developer could use to go build it. Then again, it's not simple the way you did for your simple wireframe example, were just very general blocks. It's somewhere in the middle. There's no one right way to do these things. There are lots of programs available to do these programs. We're using Axure for this class, but one that I love that's a paid program is called Omnigraffle for Macintosh. Visio is used a lot on the Windows side. You could use Photoshop, you could use Illustrator. Each of them has their their pros and their cons, and you're going to find your comfort zone as you do more of these in the future. But Axure has been a nice program for us to use. I'm getting to learn it. I like it. There's some things I do differently, would like to see in the program. But next week when we start thinking about active prototypes that actually work, with pages changing and buttons working and stuff, it's going to be a lot of fun to use this program in terms, especially in the way that it can do an active prototype using this button here. But we'll get into that next week. So anyways, have fun with this, and thanks a lot. Any questions, let me know.